Hold on to your hat, friends, because this could be a wild ride. It's going to be filled with a whole lot of miscellany. I'm Suzanne, and you have arrived at my sewing room in the beautiful state of Maine, and this is my YouTube channel, Making It in Maine. Where shall I begin? Begin at the beginning. Well, there is no beginning, but I'll begin with this. In my last video, I was showing you that I had just put a facing as opposed to a traditional binding. So this is faced rather than a traditional binding. And I just now cut corner triangles for the hanging sleeve. And I just hung it on my door to decide if I need a couple of other little supports here so it doesn't bow at the front when it's hanging. So I'll put a picture in here and see what you think. I just don't know. I'm on the fence, but here's how it looks. And it does bow a wee bit, but I don't know that it would show hanging on the wall. So there's that. And my sewing room, if you could see what's behind the camera and down below, you might have nightmares. You might run screaming into the night. I'm surprised I don't run screaming into the night. It really needs a major tidying. It's gone through the winter with me working on scraps. I've got a boatload of strips and scraps over yonder. Yeah, just stuff everywhere. And as I was moving about in here just a few minutes ago, I realized I also need to get a hanging sleeve on this. So that is just the tip of the iceberg of what I need to finish. And in my last video, I was discussing the basket of yo-yos. And yes, that's exactly what Lori Smith calls them, basket of yo-yos. Now, many of you, I'm sure, know that a yo-yo traditionally is made without that little plastic circle that I was using, and also the raw open edge of a yo-yo faces outward. It's not sewn to the background of fabric. So I know those are not officially yo-yos, but that is what Lori Smith calls them. So that's why I was calling them yo-yos. Yes, I've seen yo-yo quilts, and I can't say that I'm a huge fan of yo-yos where the raw edge faces out. I could see getting behind a tiny little, project where a few little yo-yos were facing out to be flowers. But as a general rule, not a big fan of yo-yos. Please don't take offense if you're a yo-yo lover. We all have different tastes. The other thing I need to do it would take 2 seconds to sew up the seam of my sweet little Lady Liberty. Get on it, Suzanne. Get on it, girl. Yes, and you also, if you've watched prior recent videos, you will know that I have been going through old American patchwork and quilting magazines, and I have been pulling out pages left and right. And when I was doing that, I came across this article, Making Old New Again. And these two people own reproductionfabrics.com. And as I was looking through, I saw this Dargate book. And the little quilt that I recently finished. Here is the quilt I am referring to, though the color isn't very well represented in this photo. Dargate stuck in my brain. I knew that was familiar to that quilt. Then I saw this page and it's like, yes, that is some of the fabric in my quilt. And the other thing that I guess I didn't realize about that fabric is that it's reproduction fabric. If I knew, I forgot. But I did buy that at the quilt shop that I used to frequent, and she predominantly sold reproduction fabric. Yes, so this says swatches from the 1830's Dargate book. And that's what inspired that line of fabric. So anyway, I dug out my little packet of the pieces I can use to make a second one of those quilts. And this, do you see this? These match that fabric. Let me see if I can find others from there. Yes. And I believe, let me just sort a bit here. Well, no, I won't take up all that time, but these pieces here are this fabric. And let me see if I have that stripy one. Yes, this is it. And here is this one. So that was fun to find that article. It's like I said, I don't know why I forgot or was not thinking that was reproduction fabric. So anywho, that's that about that. And I have my foundation paper piecing papers. So that's that. That was a fun discovery. Well, I will shove that in the bag later. Sorry if I'm making a rattly noise. What else? When I was rooting around, oh yes, something else that I found in one of the pages pulled from an old Patchwork and Quilting magazine was this. See that? Did you see these? The center of these stars? Well, I have had this fabric for eons, this panel. Here it is. So you just never know what you're going to find when you go through your old magazines. I think I have some other stuff, and I was going to put this together in a different way. Oh no, I think I'm confusing it with another panel I bought years ago that I've done nothing with yet. So anyway, I thought this was super cute, and after finding this project may get moved slightly up the ladder. Slightly up the ladder of things I want to work on. Yes. And I actually cut a few squares because I know someone who has do you call them ginger cats? The yellow and white ones. So I put some Thinsul Bright, is that what this is called, for pot holders and things like that. So I was going to make her a pot holder. As you can see, I did not do it. The thought did not make it to the finish line. The thought just stayed as a thought. Well, I took a little break and did some tidying in this room. It is amazing what you can find in your sewing room when you start rooting around. One of the things that I found when I was putting the little Dargate packet away was another packet of fabric from the reproduction quilt shop that I used to frequent that is now closed. But I came across this little packet, and it says New England Quilts 1830. I don't know how many squares are here. I have not counted them, but look what was on one side. Does that look familiar? Yes. 1830's fabric. I didn't know that either. I mean, it's been so long. I've had this fabric and this fabric for so long. You know, you just forget. You just forget. But, and this actually looks like a Dargate print. And I bet it is, because I believe the Dargate was 1830s too. So let's just look at some of these for the fun of it. Let me clip them together. I don't know if that will aid me in showing you. That's a cool one. Sorry, I've got to lick my finger. Don't think I'm crude or gross. It's a brown flower. That's the one that looks like a Dargate. Ooh, that one's very cool. Oh, there's definitely a patriotic one. Reminds me of fireworks on the 4th of July. Serpentine. hope I'm not grossing you out with my licking finger business. Maybe I'll get off camera to do it. Bit of a serpentine there. And that was the last one before we're back there. So that was fun to find that. And I'm thinking if there are enough squares, perhaps I could make another one of these. This I made from a little kit that I bought at Busy Thimble. Was my favorite shop, my first and favorite shop. And this, I don't think I want to put any batting in it, because you watch when I put it in front of the window. Can you see how that looks like stained glass? Let me take that away. Put some of my electrical there. See how that looks like stained glass? Bring you a little bit closer. Yeah. So I don't know if I don't know if I want to sandwich it and quilt it like you normally would. I just don't know. I mean, it's not wide enough to be a curtain, so it kind of doesn't make sense. Maybe I would do it with another little quilt that I put together, but anyway, that's something I could do with these 1830s fabrics. Let me show you the little baskets of yo-yos now that I have all the yo-yos pinned to the quilt top. Let me go get it. Alrighty, here is the progress. In my last video, I was asking if the brown yo-yos should be a lighter brown, more on the tan side, more along, is there one that's lighter? Yeah, more like this guy. I don't know why I'm calling my yo-yos guys. Is there some hidden meaning there? Do I think guys are yo-yos? Sometimes, some of them are. But then again, there's plenty of women who are yo-yos too. Let's not disparage anyone. All right, so there is that. And yeah, let me show you the pattern again, because in my last video, in my very awkward way, I decided to add another border strip and corner squares up here. This one is very small compared to here. And these, this, and this, and this, oops, this, this, and this. Yes, these 4 only have a binding. This just has binding across the top. And this has nothing but binding across the top. This is just binding across the top. Binding across the top. So, yeah, I just decided I wanted to add the border and corner squares to mine. So, there it is. Progress. Now I need to, I guess decide if I want to leave those dark brown yo-yos or make some lighter brown. I don't know. I think I might leave it. I don't know. There's that. That decision needs to be made. And on the topic of Lori Smith, since we're on the topic of Lori Smith, I did a few days ago, or maybe last week, remembered that I had some other Lori Smith patterns because someone mentioned a sampler quilt of hers in one of the comments. So I went looking through my patterns, and I'll just show you the other. I have 4 other packets. This was a steal, back when I bought these. $12 for 3, 6, 9. For 9 little quilt patterns, $12. Prices have gone through the roof. Let's see if you can see without me taking it out of the plastic. So this one is called Reproduction Fabrics 2. So let me show you the first one. Okay, here's Reproduction Fabrics. So we have this one, 9 patch with some other stuff. This is very busy, very scrappy. I guess they're all scrappy. They're all scrappy. Let's see which ones. I do like this one. Is that a wig rose? Kind of like a wig rose pattern. I can't say I like that one. That would be a maybe in a different color choices. That would be a maybe with a different color for the main fabric. That's a possibility. That one, I don't know, not so much. That one I don't really care for. I don't really care for that one. And I don't care for that one. No offense, Lori. I do love your little quilt patterns. There are more in Reproduction Fabrics too that I like. And here again, I don't want to offend. I know some people star quilts, that's their favorite. It's not mine. Like a sampler quilt isn't my favorite. A star quilt is not really my favorite either. And as I'm saying that, behind the camera is a little star quilt. It's just a wall size quilt that needs to be finished. I was just trying to decide if I was going to add more to it and what borders. It's fig tree fabric. I think it's sweet as heck. And I have more of that fabric, so I just wasn't sure if I was stopping there. I was working on it, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. Let me go get that. Here it is. Let me put something else behind it so it doesn't have the light going through. So there it is. There again, in a previous video, I was talking about my love for purple and gold or rust together. Well, here it is. It's probably why I was drawn to that fabric way back when. This fabric I got at Busy Thimble, the reproduction fabric shop that's no longer open. So pretty. So I do love those stars. This line from Fig Tree way back when, I wish it had the years on these. This was Cinnamon Stars. So this, I don't know if I had to buy it or if it came with the bundle of fabric I bought, but this I do not like at all. Do not like that at all. I pulled from the line. The colors that I liked together, and it was the purple and the golden color and this soft green. So those were the colors that spoke to me out of that line of fabric. Here's more. So you see I can make a lot more of those stars. And here is a bucket of the remainder of that fabric I have. And here's, I need something. And here is another pairing, and I like those colors together. Let me see. I've got all kinds of pieces here. All right, now we're getting down to the blocks that I do not care for. Here are some that I pieced, and I didn't want them in that quilt because I don't really like these colors together. I mean, it's okay, but they don't speak to me. They didn't speak to me. Maybe I will turn them into mug rugs and offer them as a free gift. So stay tuned. Perhaps I will do that. I could put them into a little 4-patch situation. So I could put them together like that. And it could be a little wall hanging or a little table topper for someone. Let me know if you like those colors together. Let me know if you would like to be the recipient of either a mug rug or coaster or a little 4-patch wall hanging. I wouldn't offer the 4-patch wall hanging as a freebie, as a giveaway, but I could potentially just offer the 4 just as they are as a giveaway. So I don't know. We shall see. We shall see what I do. I should probably keep them out since I'm talking about a giveaway. I will do that. I'll keep them out. Don't know how soon I would offer a giveaway, but I've got hairs on me. All right, so let me put that. No, that was on there. Put that in there. Yeah, I don't have any more of the red. That is so interesting. I guess because I didn't buy extra yardage in the red, so this red must only be from the charm pack that I purchased. All right. What else? What else? Yes, let's get back to Lori Smith. Reproduction Fabrics 2. All right, as I was saying, I digressed. I'm not a fan of stars, generally speaking. I'm not drawn to them as a general rule. I could see myself making that one. I could see myself making that one. I doubt I would make that one. I love a pinwheel, so I could see making that. I could see potentially making that, maybe different colors. Probably not that. Churn dash, you know, I love a churn dash, so I could see making that. And I wouldn't make that one. So that's Reproduction Fabrics 2 patterns by Lori Smith. And then I have 1800's style. You don't need my commentary on whether or not I would make them, but I will show you these. $250th anniversary right there. I like most of these. Gave you my commentary anyway, didn't I? It wasn't a blow-by-blow commentary, just general. And, oops, gotta go get something. Snowman would be winter. Valentine's Day. Spring, Eastery. And later spring, early summer. And 4th of July, a patriotic one. That would probably be September, back to school. Cats, I don't know. Where would the cats fit in? Let me know in the comments. And fall, of course, and then Christmas. Yeah, so some of those are cute. And I actually made one of them, only one out of that group. The Valentine one. I love that. Yes, so I made one from throughout the year. I have not made any of these in the 1800s style. I have yet to make any from the Reproduction Fabrics 2. And I haven't made any from the Reproduction Fabrics one. But I have made 2, working to complete the 3rd from here. And I have pieces cut out for at least 2 more of these, I think. And just in case you haven't watched the previous video, this is Cherries, Chocolate, and Cream. That's our Lori Smith deep dive. I was going to share a little bit more about Joe Morton, but we will save that for another time. All right, dear ones, from my heart to yours, until next time, bye for now.